Hello, I'm Rachel from Douentza Garden in Ireland, and you're very welcome to this garden tour video. Now today we're not visiting my garden. Oh no, we're visiting a different private garden here in Wexford in Southern Ireland, and it's the garden of Siobhan, Daly, Bolger and her husband John. It's a beautiful garden, and when we walk around and have a look at the fantastic space that Siobhan's put together, you'll understand how she loves colour. She loves bright colours and she loves growing plants from seed and cuttings. It's August now, and many of us are feeling a little bit jaded from the work that our own gardens take and the toll that puts on us. So refresh your batteries, come with me today and let's have a look around Siobhan's beautiful Wexford garden. Let's get on with the video. Today we're visiting a private garden here in Wexford, Ireland, and we start off at the entrance gate where echiums, a plant lover's favourite, are on abundant display. This garden is about 20 years old and 3/4 of an acre in size, and it has been created by Siobhan and her husband John. They make a great team. The backbone of the garden is mature trees and shrubs. These were mostly laid down some 20 years ago when Siobhan, in her own words, knew nothing about gardening but discovered Dr. Hessian's book on trees and shrubs. That book prompted Siobhan to plant a selection of choice specimens, including a whopping 15 acres, which make the framework for the garden. But we can't go far in this accomplished garden before encountering Siobhan's love for colour. We'll talk more about that soon when we speak to Siobhan herself. This garden is vibrant and dynamic and nowadays benefits from masses of colourful perennials and annuals all through the summer. You may wonder how this happened. What brought the Bolgers from the point where their main confidence was in trees and shrubs? Growing trees and shrubs is a common and natural first step to gardening. Siobhan explains how she had heard positive reviews of a particular year-long gardening course run by Jimmy Blake of Huntingbrook Gardens. So one Christmas, she and her husband gifted each other just one thing: an annual subscription to Jimmy's Plants Persons course. They never looked back. That first year was exciting and one of enormous change for the Bolgers garden, and walking around now we see many plants grown from seed during that time. Siobhan now had the confidence to experiment with perennials, annuals, grasses and tender exotic plants. All these slotted easily into the borders that came naturally when grass paths were woven among the original framework of trees. Siobhan, you've got so many fantastic dahlias here, varieties that I haven't seen for sale anywhere. Where do you get them from?
A good few of them came from when we did the course with Jimmy Blake, and we went down to June's garden and Jimmy's garden, and he allowed us to collect some of the seeds from his dahlias, which are all the open variety dahlias, and they're absolutely lovely. And so I just collect them now every year in, say, August, September. I just let one or two go to seed and then collect the seed and grow them, and each year then you get something different. It's always a surprise. So,
fantastic. Yeah. And when do you start sowing them in spring then?
The end of March.
The end of March. Do you put them on heat?
Yeah, we have a propagator, so I put them in there until they germinate, and then out onto the bench in the polytunnel, and yeah, just keep watching them. Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. Besides dahlias grown as an annual plant, Siobhan sows a large number of actual annuals each year. This year she raised 1,200 plants from seed, a staggering number. I count 4 different types of amaranthus or lovelies bleeding among that selection. I also see lots of Nicotiana, the tobacco plant, tagetes, which are marigolds, cosmos and nasturtiums. And each year Siobhan collects her own seed from the best plants. This is a great way to hone in on good strains and refine your selection. I'm promised some seed from this gorgeous Tagetes with masses of tiny, vibrant orange flowers. Isn't it a stunner? There are exotic plants too, like these brugmansias. Although not in flower, these plants came from me originally. When I decided to stop growing brugmansias, I knew exactly who would love them. This is a really unusual plant here, and it looks to me a bit like a schefflera, but you tell me it's not a schefflera, Siobhan, is that right?
Yeah, it's a Manihot grahami. See, I kind of like plants with unusual leaves, and I love scheffleras as well. Then a friend, Peter, he had said he had grown some.
Right.
So he gave me a little plant that he had grown from seed, and I think he gave them to a few people, but I think this might be the only one of his that's still alive, so I love it and I have to keep minding it. And it goes to seed. Well, it did last year, flowered last year, but I never got to collect the seed. I don't know, they just didn't seem to ripen, so I'm hoping this year that they will, and I'll be able to give him back seed so he can try growing them again. Oh, I'm minding it.
I'm sure Peter's proud of you. And what's your favourite kind of colour combination in the garden?
Oh, kind of oranges and the purples, those kind of colours. I love orange. Yeah, I'm not really a yellow person that much. I wait for orange. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so orange and purple together, do you put anything else together
Yeah,
with the orange?
well, sometimes just different, even pinks, or blues. Like, yeah. I just like mixing them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just like loads of colour anyway. So yeah.
Well, your garden certainly is full of loads of colour. It's absolutely
Thanks.
fantastic. I love this crabapple tree. I believe there's a story behind this tree. How old is it?
That tree is about 21 years old, because when we built the house, we put a roundabout here. I'm not great at reversing, so it's easy, then I can just drive around the roundabout. So, and then I wanted a centrepiece tree in it, and I wanted one that would have interest for a few seasons of the year. So this has its flowers, it has the lovely fruit then all the way up to Christmas and even past it. And you'd see the little birds when there's no leaves on it in the winter eating the fruit, so it's lovely. But I saved my youngest daughter's placenta, and that was put under the tree then, because we were kind of making it our family tree, so it was put under the tree when we planted it, and over the years it always seemed to have done the best.
Well, it would
healthy.
give it a good nutritional start.
Yeah,
wouldn't it?
yeah.
And I think in the past a good advice for many things, like for example bushes that didn't flower, was that you would plant a dead sheep underneath them, and just the nutrition would help kick-start it into flower.
Yeah.
Lilac was one that could be reluctant to flower at the beginning, so that's really nice. I'm really interested to hear your story about the placenta, because my daughter just recently had a baby and she's doing exactly the same thing. She kept the placenta and we're going to plant it under the baby's birth tray.
It's a lovely thing to do.
Now we're crossing into the Bolgers' back garden, the part of the garden which was created first. Here we can really see Siobhan's love of colour and of lilies. I guess to a certain extent the front garden is the area that's on view to the world. It can be that we design it not so much for ourselves, but for the outside world to see. Sometimes the back garden is where our real creativity can find full vent. One thing I really love about Siobhan's plant combinations, besides the colour palette, is the use of differing flower sizes. We can see the tiny heads of Linaria, or that little marigold I mentioned earlier, contrasted by larger flowers. It just adds another element of interest. Did you ever see such a cunningly hidden play area and such beautifully grown sweet pea? You will have noted Siobhan's love for tiger lilies, as there are many dotted around the garden. Tiger lilies are easy to propagate from bulbils, but they make quite the feature. If you have tiger lilies, or if you know someone who grows them, ask for a few bulbils. The plants produce too many, so I'm sure your friend will be happy to oblige. You too could grow your own tiger lily wall. Leaving behind the heat of those lilies, we now enter the cool of the pond area. The pond is child-friendly and has a safety grid just below the water surface. The pretty water feature perfectly echoes the leaf shape of the colocasia plants grown in pots in the water. I absolutely love your potting shed, Siobhan. Potting sheds can be very functional in many places, but yours shows a lot of love. It, I think, was a real labour of love with all those little pictures. Do you want to tell me just a little bit about how you made it and what prompted you?
Yeah, well, I always wanted a potting shed, and I just wanted a little space that you could just go into and do your little bits like, and I wanted to make it nice. So my husband's sister, she's kind of an artist, and we always did a Chris Kindle thing every year. So I asked her then to do the painting of the little poppies and things on it, and
Lovely.
that kind of, when I saw that, I really liked it. So then I just got little things out of the magazine, pictures of flowers, and just put them down on the wood and varnished over it and stuff. And I just wanted to make it a nice space. And then people gave me different sayings, gardening sayings. They went up, and I bought different ones, and yeah, it kind of just grew. And yeah, and we'd sit up there even on a rainy night, and it's lovely looking at sitting with the door open, looking out at the rain like falling. It's lovely. Yeah.
I absolutely love it, and I hope you won't be offended if I actually copy your idea.
No, absolutely not.
I'm thinking of doing something like that with a piece of furniture in
very good.
in my new greenhouse.
Okay, I'm dying to see it then when it's finished.
You'll be the first to see it.
Oh, lovely. Yeah.
Okay, brilliant. And now we've come to the end of this garden tour video. A big thank you to Siobhan and John for welcoming us here, and I hope that their beautiful garden has given you plenty of takeaways, things you can apply in your own garden at home. I'll be back on Sunday with one of my quick and easy 3-minute guides on how to grow foxgloves, the complete cycle from seed collection to discarding the plants. Then next Thursday you can expect a longer video like this one, and I'll give you a tour of my greenhouses, and we'll see what I've been up to and what plants are enjoying this heat wave weather. Thanks as always for watching. Keep to the shade and enjoy your gardens. Bye!